Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki jai, Namacharya Sri Haridas Thakur ki jai, Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Shari Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai, Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath, Sham Kund Radha Kund Giri Gauritan ki jai, Vrindavan Tham ki jai, Navdev Tham ki jai, Jagannath Puri ki jai, Ganga Maya ki jai, Jamana Maya ki jai, Tulsi Devi ki jai, Bhakti Devi ki jai, Samaveta Bhakti Vrinda ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Go Premanande. Om Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo 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 Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Bhagavad Gita 8:15. Mam Peja Punarjanma Dukhalayam Ashashvatam Nabhuvanti Mahatmanaha Samsiddhim Paramam Gata. Mam Peja Punarjanma Dukhalayam Ashashvatam Nabhuvanti Mahatmanaha Samsiddhim Paramam Gata. That last vowel is long, so it's Gata. Mahupeja Punarjanma Dukhalayam Ashashvatam Nabhuvanti Mahatmanaha Samsiddhim Paramam Gata.
Mahupetya Punarjanma Dukhalayam Ashashvatam Napnuvanti Mahatmanaha Samsiddhim Paramam Gata.
Mahupetya Punarjanma Dukhalayam Ashashvatam Napnuvanti Mahatmanaha Samsiddhim Paramam Gata.
Mahupetya Punarjanma Dukhalayam Ashashvatam Napnuvanti Mahatmanaha Samsiddhim Paramam Gata.
Ladies. achieving. Punaha, again. Janma, birth. Dukhalayam, place of miseries. Ashashvatam, temporary. Na, never. Atmavanti, attain. Mahatmanaha, the great souls. Samsiddhim, perfection. Paramam, ultimate. Gataha, having achieved. After attaining me, the great souls who are yogis in devotion never return to this temporary material world, which is full of miseries, because they have attained the highest perfection. Purport. Since this temporary material world is full of the miseries of birth, old age, disease, and death, naturally he who achieves the highest perfection and attains the supreme planet, Krishna Loka, Goloka Vrindavan, does not wish to return. The supreme planet is described in Vedic literature as Avyakta and Akshara and Paramapati. In other words, that planet is beyond our material vision, and it is inexplicable. But it is the highest goal, the destination for the Mahatmas, great souls. The Mahatmas receive transcendental messages from the realized devotees, and thus gradually develop devotional service in Krishna consciousness, and become so absorbed in transcendental service that they no longer desire elevation to any of the material planets, nor do they even want to be transferred to any spiritual planet. They only want Krishna and Krishna's association, and nothing else. This is the highest perfection of life. This verse specifically mentions the personalist devotees of the Supreme Lord, Krishna. These devotees in Krishna consciousness achieve the highest perfection of life. In other words, they are the supreme souls. Om Jana Timirantasya Janam Jana Surakaya Shakshram Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Prabhupistam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Shvam Rupa Kalamaitam Tadhati Shapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jatatakam Shri Rupam Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Shagrajatam Shahravana Raghunatam Vitam Stam Sarimam Sadvaitam Sadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Deva Shri Radha Krishna Padam Shahravana Lalita Shri Chakam Vitamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sundha Dhinam Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radhanam Kanta Namaste Tatra Namshana Gaurangi Radha Vrindavaneshwari Prashavanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakotatarupyascha Prabhasantopyeja Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasudeva Bhaktivinoda chapter, Attaining the Supreme. Who the Supreme is clear. Mahapecha. As Prabhupada points out, Ma means me. Simple, straightforward dictionary definition. Ma means me means the person who's speaking. And the person speaking here is Lord Shri Krishna. Therefore, Mahapecha means attaining me, having attained me. Mahapecha. This is the highest attainment. Avyaktoksharit yuktas tamahu paramam gatim yam prapya nanivartante tad nama padamam. This verse comes up in the Bhagavad Gita and a few verses forward. The abode of Krishna is Akshara. How does Prabhupada translate Akshara here? Let's see. Beyond material vision. And Tamakshara Ityuktas Tamahu Paramam Vitim. It's inexplicable, it's achintya, and it's the supreme destination. Mahapecha. If one achieves the abode of Krishna, Punarjanma Natvavat. Natvanti means they don't come back. Punarjanma na apnavanti. There's no need of coming back to this material world. Even you'll find in the coming verses that Shine Punye Marcha Lokam Dishanti, even after going through so much trouble to attain the heavenly planets, and even after enjoying there for thousands and thousands of years, one comes back to this Marcha Loka, this world of death. Therefore, it's useless. Gatagatam kama kama lavante. When goes, when comes, when goes, when comes. But here, not lavante. After going, one doesn't have to come back. The living entity is eternal. Krishna is eternal. The dealings between Krishna and the devotee are eternal. The pure devotee has no need to come back to this material world to try to enjoy the resources provided by the material energy. Those resources are illusory. We're looking for happiness. We're looking for pleasure, for enjoyment. But what kind of world is this? Dukhalaya. Alaya means a place where you get something. Just like the Himalayas, they're a place where there's ice all the time. Or Bhojanalaya. Bhojanalaya means a place where you get food and stuff, a restaurant. And Dukhalaya, a place where you get misery. Now, this material world is certified by Lord Shri Krishna himself as being a miserable place. Prabhupada said, no place for a gentleman. A miserable place. And he explains why in the purport. Here one has to undergo birth and death and disease and old age. Old age is not fun. So many miseries attendant upon old age. And death no one wants. And rebirth also is miserable. That's described by Lord Kapil Dev in third canto. Even the process of having to undergo birth again and again is miserable. or to speak, going through another lifetime of troubles. But this is the place where these miseries are inevitable. No one can escape disease. No one can escape death, old age, or rebirth in this material existence. And therefore, we're trying to enjoy in a place which is miserable. And we're thinking that it's possible. The whole atmosphere is fraught with miseries. Analyzed another way, there's miseries from other living beings, miseries from nature, miseries from our own bodies and minds, misery from beginning to end. Someone says, no, there's some happiness, but it's mixed with misery. And happiness mixed with misery is misery. Prabhupada gave the example of sweet rice mixed with sand. You take a little spoonful of sand and add it to a cup of sweet rice. And you may say, well, take the good with the bad. But it's miserable. And frustrating because the sweetness is there, but you can't enjoy it because the sand will grit your teeth. And someone says, no, you're just being negative. You're rejecting the world because you can't enjoy. But I've learned how to be happy here. You just have to have the right mindset, the right attitude, or just be fortunate and enjoy it. Then Krishna says, Ashashvata. Even if we think, yes, they're wrong, it's not a place of misery, it's a place of happiness. I'm happy, I have a nice wife, I have a nice house, I have a nice car, I have a nice home, I have reputation, I have everything. But a Shashvata. Shashvata means permanent, and Ashashvata, temporary. It'll all be taken away. Prabhupada points out that if we find an apartment that we like, first thing we do is sign a contract so that we can't be kicked out. No one wants to live in a flat where any day you could just be tossed out. If it's nice, you want to stay there. So if we think this world is nice, then very good, but no one can stay. The whole world itself is a Shashvata. It's created again and again, and destroyed again and again. Bhutva, bhutva, pradiyate. And the living entities, we appear and disappear again and again. And when we disappear, everything we've gathered is lost. Our education, our fame, our money, our social status, our intellect, it's all gone. Ashashvatam. And therefore everyone who's trying to enjoy this material world is doomed to be frustrated. Not possible to stay here and enjoy. And if we try to fix it up, and they kid themselves, they fool themselves. The big, intelligent, sophisticated, scientific-minded men freeze their bodies so that in the future, when a cure is found from the disease that's meant to kill them, they can thaw the body out and again live. They're simply fooling themselves. And even if they could live again, what's the use? What great benefit to being raised from the dead? A little more sense gratification. What is that? So they're poor-minded. They're poor-minded. But the devotees are described as Mahatmana, broad-minded. How does Prabhupada? Great souls. Sometimes Prabhupada says broad-minded. Here, great souls. Mahatmana. Sangsiddhim. They attain complete perfection. Complete perfection. There are various kinds of perfections, materially, yogic powers, siddhis. But here, Sangsiddhi, the absolutely complete perfection, to go back home, back to Godhead. Paramam Gata. Paramam Gati means the ultimate destination. That's described there. Devi Mahesha Haridhama Shute Shuteshu. In the material world, there's Devi Tam, the world in which we're living. And then there's Maheshtam, the abode of Lord Shiva, still higher. And higher than that is Haridham, the Vaikuntha world. And there the highest planet is Goloka Vrindavan, the personal abode of Krishna. Mamupecha Paramam Gata. By fixing the mind on Krishna, by being absorbed in Krishna consciousness, at the time of death, one can be transferred to the abode of Krishna. Paramam Gati. And this is the real aim of the intelligent living being or fortunate living being. He no longer desires to go anywhere else. He just wants to be engaged in the service of Krishna. All right, let's see if there's a question here. We'll leave a lot of time for some questions if there are some. Yes.
It seems not to be so simple to have this one-pointedness.
Seems not to be so simple to have this one-pointedness.
Like going to... Like feeling that I only want to do the devotional service. I don't even want to do my own devotional service. I just want to do what...
I don't even want to do my own devotional service means?
Like I want to do what my guru wants, what Krishna wants, what devotees want.
Yes. What is the difficulty? Why should we want to do something else?
Maybe we don't understand that this is real freedom. There's a sense of being, how to say?
Restricted?
Yes.
Yes, of course. What's the word? Diseased patient is restricted. Don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, don't eat this, don't do that. He must be restricted. Otherwise, the disease will continue, he'll get worse. When he's healthy, then he's unrestricted. In the spiritual world, there are no such restrictions. You can't eat, you can't do this. But here, we're restricted, whether you like it or not. You become a Hare Krishna, you'll be restricted. You don't become a Hare Krishna, you'll be restricted. The laws of the state are there, restriction, laws, social norms, restriction, and finally the laws of nature. You'd like to fly? Too bad, you don't have wings. You'd like to enjoy sex into your 90s? Too bad. You'd like to eat and eat and eat, but too bad. You won't be able to digest beyond a certain point. Restriction, or you'll get, again, sick. So join Hare Krishna and be restricted, or don't join Hare Krishna and be restricted. We're restricted in any case. We're restricted by the laws of karma. I'd like to go live in a mansion in Fiji. Nice warm weather and a big comfortable place. But according to my karma, I have to live in some slum in Nigeria, or I have to live in Germany, or in nice freezing weather. I'm restricted by the laws of nature. As much as I'd like to do this or do that, according to my karma, no. So, Krishna consciousness or spiritual, any kind of spiritual, genuine spiritual path means voluntary restriction. You may be personalist, impersonalist, doesn't matter. We have to accept some voluntary restriction. Otherwise, the disease gets worse. But apart from that, one pointed means just chant Hare Krishna. Prabhupada made it so simple. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu makes it simple. Just chant Hare Krishna. Then the mind, Prabhupada said, chanting is thinking. By chanting, automatically we're thinking of Krishna. So go on chanting, go on chanting. Yes, there's some, the mind tends to be distracted, and so many things. We have so many contaminations. But Chaito Darbana Marjanam, we can have confidence that if we follow this method, and gradually we'll come to the point. Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, could you please explain some of the nuances to this verse where there's cases where souls will descend from the spiritual world?
Excuse me?
Could you discuss how, because it says in this verse that when one reaches the abode of Krishna, they never come down, but how a soul who's already reached eternal life might fall, or those who decide to come down from the spiritual world?
It can't be explained. Of course, voluntarily coming for preaching, that's easy to understand. But this business, how does the living entity fall from the spiritual world? This is an endless question. But the nub of it, the essence of it, is that by turning, what is that? Bahir Mukjiv, Bhagavanchakari. By turning Anadi Bahir Muk, since time immemorial, the conditioned souls have turned their faces away from Krishna. Bahir Muk. Bahir Muk means turning the face away. Away from Krishna and toward illusion. No one can explain exactly how that happens. But Prabhupada gave the example, someone's happy in Krishna consciousness, but suddenly he leaves. And why? He has tiny independence. But exactly, that's the nature of the disease. Just like some disease, no one can really say when this disease arose, exactly how he got this disease. But we know this is the condition, such and such is going on. So this is the nature of the condition. Misuse of independence and turning away from Krishna and toward illusion. There's a place in the third canto where it's said, from pure consciousness, illusion or contaminated consciousness arises. Yes. from pure consciousness, illusion or contamination arises. It's there in, I think teachings of Lord Kapil Dev. How exactly does that happen? How from pure consciousness does contaminating, but it does.
Do we regain memory of our material existence when we're in the spiritual world?
Why would you? It's a dream. Even if you have a dream at night, you wake up and what was it? It's gone. And why bother dreaming about or trying to recall the dreams of suffering in this material, the nightmare? Who wants to remember nightmares? Something else. Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. I have a short question about how one can be more conscious. We said before.
How one can be more cultured?
No, conscious. Conscious. Obviously.
Conscious.
Yes. Because I'm young, I need to for services, but sometimes my mind.
I'm sorry, but I'm half deaf, and it doesn't seem to me that you're speaking loudly and clearly. I'm hearing just.
Sorry. I said so. How one can be more conscious?
Yes.
Because yes, I'm a young devotee, and it's difficult for me sometimes to concentrate myself on the lecture or on the service. So
practice.
Yes.
Abhyasa yoga yuktena chetasana anyugamina. By practice. Abhyas. Abhyas means practice. In the beginning of any practice, we're not very good at it. You know how to ride a bicycle? How did you learn? Yeah. Did you ever fall? Yes. A lot of times? Yes. That's how you learn. In the beginning, riding a bicycle seems very difficult. Even at one point you may say, no, I don't really want to learn how. You fall too many times, you say, I don't really want to learn how. But then if you stick with it, you become very expert, and riding a bicycle is a pleasure. In the beginning, you have to figure it out. You have to practice. It seems almost impossible. How do you balance on this thing? Maybe you need training wheels in the beginning. But then as you practice, you become expert. And then you can do stunts on your bike. You can do so many things. So, abhyasa yoga you obtain it by practice. Abhyasena tukonteya vairagena chakriyate, by practice and detachment, vairagya. Is that all right? And in good association, if we stay in the association of devotees, then our practice becomes so much easier. Something else? Yes?
We see here and then devotees joining for a time, and they are about to get devotees, and we put a lot of expectation and hope in them, and then many leave us and they say, I'm doubting, they find a reason why it's exciting for them to experience material world again, and I'm always wondering how to cope with such a person. Should I confront him and tell him, hey, this is the philosophy, or should I make him just stay in the connection and let him make his experiences? Do you have any practical advice how to cope with such?
It depends on the case. How do we deal with someone who joins or almost joins, but then he decides he wants to leave, he doesn't want to dedicate himself to this. Do you confront him? Do you say, okay? And that depends on the case, what you do. First, we have to understand that he has free will. He can come, he can go. It's not in our power to force him, and it's not even that's not what we do. We don't try to force you. But we're offering education, basically. We're offering wisdom of the Shastras, the Acharyas, just like here. Dukalayam Shastratam. What are you going to enjoy out there? It will be miserable, you'll see. And even if you get it, you can't keep it. So why do you want to waste your time? So there's so many good arguments for a person who's intelligent. He may understand these things. Otherwise, everyone's free to be foolish, or free to be full of doubts, uncertainty, wavering. Back in the old days, at 26 2nd Avenue, devotees would sometimes think about blooping. You familiar with this term, bloop? It was very common back in Prabhupada's time. To bloop meant to leave, to give up Krishna consciousness was to bloop. And it became a saying, a word used by the devotees. They picked it up from some lecture where Prabhupada said that if one leaves consciousness, Krishna consciousness, then again he falls, bloop, into the ocean of material existence. So this became a term, to bloop. So people are free to bloop, to leave. Back at 26 2nd Avenue, devotees would think of blooping, they would think of leaving. But they would think, well, let me at least stay for the Sunday feast. And then I'll leave. Because the Sunday feasts were so nice. They'd make like 12 or 15 preparations. And all of them really good. So devotees would sometimes think, let me leave, but let me wait till Sunday. And then they'd be good for another week. So for those who show an interest, or those who join us, they should be fed nicely, nice prasadam, and we should be kind and friendly to them. Not that we're kind and friendly till they join, and then, okay, now it's work. But we should always be kind and friendly to anyone, even those who are not very interested. Devotee is described as being a kind friend toward all living beings. So by kindness, by friendship, by encouragement, by patience, by answering questions that people may have, by giving good engagement so that the mind can be absorbed in something that they like to do. There's so many different ways to try to encourage people to be Krishna conscious. But finally we can't force them if they want to leave. That's their choice. And it happened to Prabhupada so many times that he'd invest energy in people, he'd try to explain everything patiently and so on. Still they'd leave. So we have to be prepared for that. Just like if you're a doctor, you'll lose some patients.
a surgeon. He'll cure so many people, but he'll lose some. You can't avoid it. Something else?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my most humble and respectful obeisances.
Hare Krishna.
Regarding the pure devotees that we have Nitya Siddhas, Kripa Siddhas, Sadhana Siddhas. So with Kripa Siddhas and Sadhana Siddhas, is that sufficient? So the mercy of the Lord and doing your sadhana properly.
Sufficient to do what?
To attain the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Yeah, Siddha is Siddha. You may be Kripa Siddha, you may be Sadhana Siddha, but Siddha is Siddha. If you attain perfection, Kripa means by Krishna's mercy, all right. Sadhana Siddha, you attain perfection by practice, all right. I'll take it however I can get it. Siddha, Sang Siddha. One becomes perfect by practice, by mercy. Finally, mercy is always involved, even if it's practice.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dandat Pranams. Maharaj, like as the Prasadam topic was going on, so just for an example, now it's been years. I'm hearing that it's Dukhalam Shashvatam and there are restrictions also. May it be Adi Bhautik, Adi Adhyatmic, these sorrows are also there. But still, why I am having the tendency to enjoy? For an example, for years I'm eating paneer now, and still I look for paneer. Is there paneer for today to eat? You know, so that mind still has the tendency to enjoy. So will this tendency ever stop, or I need to transform it, or I need to change it? How I need to take it?
The tendency to enjoy is deeply embedded in our history. For lifetimes and lifetimes we've had this disease. Let me enjoy. So finally we don't say don't enjoy, but we have to know how to enjoy. Just like we may want to be great, but we become great fools. The great politician, the great artist, they're great fools. But there is a way to become great. Prabhupada said, become great by serving the greatest. Not by trying to become the greatest, by trying to serve the greatest. So, even if we have the tendency, let me enjoy, but there's no better enjoyment than trying to give enjoyment to Krishna. Even if my tendency is, no, I want to enjoy. All right, there's no better way to enjoy than this. Of course, pure devotees, they're not serving Krishna to enjoy, but even if that's our idea, let me enjoy. All right, let me enjoy serving Krishna. Is that all right? Okay. Anything else? Krishna, Krishna, Krishna.
One of the reasons I hear that a lot of people leave Krishna consciousness is because they don't have close friendships and relationships. How can we help to, especially with brahmacharis and with other men, develop these close relationships?
That's described in how to develop close relationships with other devotees. It's described in Nectar of Instruction, how we develop loving relationships. dadati pratigrinati, by giving something and receiving something, by sharing our thoughts and hearing from our friend, by giving some prasadam, accepting prasadam, and by serving together. Practically all of my closest friends, they're people I've served with. You know, it's natural when we serve together. The service may be just hearing and chanting together, maybe distributing books together, it may be starting a temple together, it may be going out doing something else together. When we serve together, we become close. Of course, you may serve with somebody that you really don't have much rapport with, but generally, when we serve with someone, then there's you develop a friendship. You develop a friendship. In the military, you know, when they serve together in some war, the men who serve together may come from all different backgrounds, all different strata of life, different parts of the country. But when they serve together, that connection can go on till the end of their life. You know, they'll do things for one another, they'll help one another out, maybe they'll, you know, really save someone from enemy fire, or otherwise they're just, you know, hiding out together in the trenches. That, when they serve together, they develop a very strong friendship. Because they have, well, just naturally by the nature of serving, and also because they're serving a common cause. They're serving the country, or they think they're serving the cause of freedom or democracy or whatever it is. So when devotees together serve Krishna, it's natural that a friendly relationship at least has the opportunity to develop and become very deep. Even if we don't see our buddies for decades, we'll remember I served with that devotee. So there's a friendship. Some other people, we didn't serve with them. We know they're great devotees, they're wonderful, but there's not such a deep relationship. But when we serve together, then. Is that okay? All right, anything else? And by appreciation, if we don't appreciate people, then what kind of friendship? But if we adopt the mentality of appreciating other devotees, then naturally we'll want to be their friends and they'll want to be our friends. Who wants to be a friend with someone who doesn't appreciate you? So appreciation by appreciating other devotees sincerely. Okay? All right. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna. Samaveta Bhakta Brinda Ki Jai. Gaur Premanande. Oh yeah, we have books. I'm being prompted to say something. We have the blue book. If you're here and listening, then you know English. So this is Srila Prabhupada's Kirtan Standards. I've written another book which is called Vanity Karma, which is meant for outsiders. But this one is meant for the devotees. As we find in the back, for anyone who cares about Srila Prabhupada's standards for Kirtan, this is an essential book. So it's really meant to be in the hand of every devotee who's interested in chanting Hare Krishna with other devotees, which is all of us. How should we chant? What should we think of? What should we chant? What should we not chant? What did Prabhupada expect us to do? What did he stop kirtans because of? There were times when Prabhupada just stopped the kirtan. So what was it about? What should be our mood when we chant Hare Krishna? What mantras? What are the philosophical underpinnings of the things that we do? What is the stuff that has come into kirtan that Prabhupada didn't teach, that's just crept in on its own and become, like an ISKCON tradition, but for no reason? What are the things that have come in that are completely contrary to Vaishnava teachings? What are the bogus mantras? How do you pronounce things? The things we chant every day. So down to the details and more broadly to the principles, this book compiles instructions from Srila Prabhupada, sometimes from previous acharyas, from Shastric sources, so that we can really get a good sense of how to do kirtan in the way that Prabhupada taught us to do kirtan. As Prabhupada's our founder acharya, so he set the standard. He set the standard. And by following Srila Prabhupada's standard for kirtan, we can chant Hare Krishna in a way that'll be more pleasing to Krishna. So this is the book, Srila Prabhupada's Kirtan Standards. You're all invited to get a copy. They cost money. I don't know how much. 15 euros. So 15 euros. Mm-hmm. You can give more. You can even give less. We'd probably not complain too much. And I don't know, credit cards and all that. Yeah, all that. So we encourage you, get a copy of this book. And you'll find lots of surprises. Things that we thought Prabhupada taught that Prabhupada never taught. Things that we thought were part of the tradition that aren't part of the tradition. Things that we were told to do that Prabhupada never told us to do. There's some quite interesting surprises in the book also. So read it at your own risk. All right, that's the book. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
We will have it here on the side and I'll take care, and if anyone wants a book, you can approach me.
Good. Okay. Am I supposed to sign copies? Is that part of the deal? They're worth more on eBay if they're signed.
Copy-paste. You also sign Bhagavatam sets, Maharaj?
No, I'm not going to sign every book in the house, just this one. All right, thank you. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Sansahim paramangataha.
Would you like to stick around for RT?
That's what happens now, right?